He's a husband, a father, a blogger, and an author who writes about the shenanigans of his daily life. Stoney Stamper shares the experiences and challenges that come with being the father of 3 girls.
Hey everyone, I'm so excited to be shooting for OsiyoTV today. We're all gussied up and have cameras all over the house. We feel like the Kardashians, except with smaller butts. My name's Stoney Stamper. I'm the owner and author of the Daddy Diaries. I write a blog that covers all the good, bad, and the ugly of parenting and blended families. I am the husband of April, and we've got 3 little girls, not so little anymore. Abby's 19, Emma is 15, and Gracie is 6. Abby and Emma are April's daughters from her first marriage, but we don't use the word stepdaughters. They're my kids. I grew up in Murphy, Oklahoma. My family has a quarter horse ranch there in Murphy. I've always been a writer, or at least I've always enjoyed writing. No one ever read what I wrote, but I enjoyed it. After our 3rd daughter, Gracie, was born, Gracie being my first baby. The older girls, I wasn't around when they were babies, so this was my first foray into taking care of an infant. And one particular day, we had bought April a spa package for Mother's Day, and Gracie was about 6 weeks old. I thought I could handle it with no problems, just the 2 of us. Didn't quite turn out that way. And as I was looking at her face, a Bellagio fountain came out. I screamed a little bit. I got in a little bit over my head, but we both made it out alive. I posted it on my personal Facebook page, and it got shared almost 1,000 times. So finally, when that happened, I thought, well, maybe people will enjoy reading it. I could have never dreamed at the time that it would bring a book deal and a little minor slice of D-list celebrity status, which maybe D's too high, to maybe more like a F or a G-list celebrity. But we get recognized from time to time, and people really enjoy the stories of our family. The girls, April, are the clear muses. I've always enjoyed telling stories, and I always like to look at it from a humorous standpoint.
Abby licked her finger and she put it in my ear, and it was disgusting and gross.
And what's it called?
What lily?
A what?
What lily?
I live in a whirlpool of estrogen around here, and I have 3 girls that are very different from one another. Abby is the oldest. She's a freshman at Oklahoma State, and she's so laid back, very go with the flow, easy to get along with. But at first, she was really leery of me, and now she and I are as close as anyone in the house. But it took a long time to earn her trust and make her realize I wasn't here to steal her mother away, and that everything was going to be okay.
Your Class 1 placings first goes to Garrett Anderson, second, Alexandria Peterman, third, McKenna Anderson, and fourth, Cody Charlton.
Emma, as a little girl, she was just the funniest thing. Everything that she thought, she said, and the majority of that made it onto the blog. And she's always been our competitive child, and the one that really has a lot of drive and wants to go out there and win. And Gracie is the baby by quite a bit. We probably treated her like that a little bit too much, and she thinks she's the little queen that runs this house. And she probably does for the most part. But for her to climb up in your lap and say, "Daddy, hold me," that's the best. There's nothing better than that.
If I set in this and it breaks, you are absolutely not allowed.
Absolutely going to put it in the episode.
Post it anywhere.
I had been asked to write the book for Penguin Random House in August, And on November the 8th of 2017, a box truck pulled out in front of me at a stoplight, and there was not much time to react, and I hit him. I was trapped in the truck for about an hour. My legs were just mangled underneath the dash, and ironically, one of the first people to pull up on the wreck was April. She just happened to be coming home from taking our daughter to school. I can never say how thankful I am for her. There's no way that we'd be here today if it wasn't for her. She had to take care of me night and day and change bandages in the middle of the night and make sure I was taking my medicine and make sure I was eating. And so she got a lot thrown at her in a really short amount of time. You know, for the most part, it all fell to her, and she kept us afloat. We try to look at the positives of it. It's not always easy, but that we're together and that we're healthy and that we're happy with one another and that we have a good family, that's the most important thing. You know, laying there in that hospital bed, there was really only one thing I wanted, and that was for all 4 of my girls to be beside me. Nothing else is really that important. You know, a lot of times you have this illusion, you have this picture in your mind of what life should be like. People on the internet, they see only the good things that happen in our family. I try to paint the full picture. I tell stories whether they're good or bad, but what we found, especially since my wreck, is that life doesn't care what your illusions are. Life happens, you know, and we believe that God has his timing and everything happens when it's supposed to happen. You have to just roll with the punches and adapt and find happiness in whatever you're dealt. It's not always perfect, but you know, it's real life. We're gonna have kids at the house for quite a few more years, so we've got a lot of parenting left to do, but I hope that they go on to follow their hearts and do whatever they're passionate about. You know, I've always told them that anytime they've competed or anytime that they've done anything worthwhile, that, you know, I didn't care if they won. I always wanted them to try. I always hope that they'll work hard. If they're going to do something, that they'll give it their very best. I've wanted to be a writer for my entire life, and I'm 40 years old, and it's only really just now happening. So I hope that they'll be the same way. If there's something that they're really passionate about, I hope they stay after it and find some success in that.